My name is Claire McClinton. I was born and raised in Flint. I'm what we call a Flintstone. We really have a serious, dramatic problem on our hands as our governor is sending out emergency managers around the states and dispatching these managers to literally take over our cities.
And what is wrong with that?
Well, the powers of the emergency manager is something that I don't think we have ever seen in our history. The emergency manager first of all, they replace our local elected officials. That right there is just astonishing. Secondly, once the manager comes in, they can sell off public assets. They can and have dissolve school districts. They have not did it yet, but they have the power to even dissolve the city as a city. They can compromise, change, and gut union contracts. And it's just, I don't think that I don't think we've quite wrapped our minds around the devastation and the importance of losing our democracy to this extent. The corporations have gotten tax abatements. They've robotized and sent plants overseas. They don't talk about that as a contributor to the economic crisis that we are in. They only want to say it's particularly African American elected officials who are dysfunctional and illiterate and criminal and corrupt that led to this economic crisis. And they did a far-reaching campaign to instill that in the people of Michigan, but I'm proud to say that the people of Michigan rejected that, and we defeated Public Act 4, which was the original emergency manager law.
And did you see a broad group of people coming together over that issue?
Yes, and this was very exciting and just really something different, because you had pockets of citizens all over this state, from the tip of the Upper Peninsula all down to the Ohio border, who said no to this type of blatant and legal erosion of our democracy, and taking away our democracy with an ink pen and signing over our rights. And so we had people we had unions, you had civil rights organizations, you had people up in the rural sections of our state who were staunch Republicans, their terms, not mine, that worked hard. They went to the blueberry festivals and the cherry festivals and the blossom festivals up in our more rural parts of the state, and got out there and worked hard to get this on the ballot so that we could reject this heinous and vicious assault on democracy. Our Michigan citizens are smart, but there's still a lot of work to do, because unfortunately a lot of people, even in the cities who have emergency managers, are not quite there with understanding the sea change and the dynamics of what we're going through. I mean, people are not acting as though we're living under occupation, and we are. Not too long ago, I was told that I do know, I saw the emails from the governor to the law firm that's now has the emergency manager, Jones Law Firm, to the emergency manager, or who was not emergency manager at the time. And in going back and forth in these emails, they said, well, if we try to put emergency manager in Detroit, they're going to accuse us of an attack on democracy and say that we're fascists. Well, yeah. So even they understand, the powers that be, they know exactly what they're doing, but they're persistent and they're moving right along, and they made some mistakes in their quest because they didn't think the people of Michigan were wise enough and cared enough about our state and our democracy to push back on that. But they're storming right ahead, and now we have 2 more cities as of this date who are being reviewed for financial manager. So we are smart, but then we've got to build more awareness among the people about the dangers of this, because this is going to be implemented at home and spread abroad. And when I say abroad, I mean to the rest of the United States as a prescription and as a model to hand over the public assets that we have built and maintained all these years and just give them to nameless faces, financial interests. We're not interested in that.